Okay, we're good to go. Hey, look, all of you guys and gals, I would say good morning, but all of you guys and gals are in different parts of the country. Who knows where you are on this God's good planet? But what's most important is thank you so much for joining us. I know that your time is valuable. We got a lot of really great stuff to cover here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first pull up a PowerPoint slideshow if I could, and I'm going to go to share my screen. Just sit still with me, guys. Be with you in a moment here. We're getting there. We are getting there. Here we go. Share screen. PowerPoint. And this is going to do it for us. There. What do you think of that? I do have some technical skills. Surprised, right? Well, look, first and most importantly, I would like to thank all of you for joining us. I know that your time is valuable. I know there's a lot of places you could be, a lot of things you could be doing other than spending it with me and with these wonderful guests that are going to be with us. So thanks so much for being here. I'd also like to thank our dear friends at Bolt-On. As you all know, they have wonderful products, wonderful people, and an extraordinary service, and they're kind enough to help us get the word out. They believe in us. We certainly believe in them. So a big thank you goes out to all of my dear friends at Bolt-On for helping us with this event. I would also like to thank a couple of guys and gals, or people that you actually see on the screen with us today. First of all, I'd like to introduce Kevin. Hey, Kevin, good morning. Good afternoon,
morning,
I guess, for you, huh?
Yes, afternoon for me. Yes, sir, it is.
Afternoon for Kevin. Kevin is a gentleman that was in the auto repair industry for a number of years, actually grew an incredible group of auto repair shops in the great state of Indiana. He decided he was going to retire early. He did that. He sold his businesses, started hitting golf balls. And then in 2013, he figured it was time to get back to work. And he wanted to come and work with us. And ever since then, he's done nothing short of an extraordinary job in helping us in countless ways. Started with us as a business development coach. We watched him take clients right to the top. Now what he's doing is he's training all of the other coaches for us. He does an outstanding job with that. He also helps us as a trainer too, does webinars and courses like this. So there's no question. All that know Kevin Vaught know that he's a gift to the industry for sure. And he's agreed to make things better for me. He's agreed to join us today for this webinar. And I think you're going to really love the content that Kevin's going to be sharing with you. So Kevin, I hope I didn't embarrass you too much, but
thanks for the kind words, and thanks for allowing me to join you all. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. The other smiley face that you see, some of you might recognize this gal. You might recognize her from Wrench, other publications that you've seen. Her name is Rachel Spencer, and Rachel is an amazing lady, has an amazing shop outside of in the great state of Texas, outside of Dallas. I can tell you she's got 3 techs, 6 bays, if I'm correct, and she's doing over 1.2 million a year out of a store. And her reputation really is second to none. Her community absolutely loves her. And no surprise, she really does care about people. She's very principle-centered, and it's a pleasure to work with Rachel. I can tell you that. She's decided to join our family here at Elite. She's going to be working with us as a business development coach. And I know that based on her track record, what she's already experienced in her life, what she's been able to grow with her business, I know that she'll do an extraordinary job for us. So Rachel, hope I didn't embarrass you too much either.
No, you didn't at all. Thank you so much, Bob. I'm so excited about this experience and being able to help people and learn and help them grow in this industry.
Yeah, you will. You will for sure, Rachel. So thanks again. Who we are, for those of you that might be unfamiliar with us, I think the simplest way of saying who we are is what you'll see up on the screen right now. We literally live by this principle of never putting money ahead of people. This is our DNA. This is the fabric that's in each and every one of us. What do we do? Well, this is our mission statement. And our mission is to help use our team of top experts in America to help the industry professionals like you guys and gals reach their goals, live happier lives while elevating the industry that we really do love so much. And then as it says, this mission will be accomplished without ever compromising our ethics or the trust that's placed in us. So this is our mission statement. Now, what do we do? Well, we help guys and gals like you. How do we do that? Well, we do it through industry-leading training. We have peer groups that are really second to none. We have one-on-one coaching that is second to none. We have consulting services, and all of these different services have really positioned us as the #1 company. And we allow people like you guys and gals, to stay at the forefront of the industry. So a little bit about who we are and what we do. And Kevin, could you help out with how these guys and gals can best benefit today?
Sure, everyone. Just to how to best benefit from this, please make sure you're in a quiet place, uninterrupted. This is really important. Take good notes. The reason that's important, studies have shown that there's a real connection between the mind and the note-taking process. So take good notes, and not only that, you'll have good questions for us that way.
Good point.
Feel free to ask questions by way of the chat panel. We're going to get as many as we can, depending on the time frame. So if you have any questions that come up during this process, please don't hesitate to do it. Ask on the chat panel, ask the question, and we'll try to get to them.
Yeah, it's just that easy, guys and gals. You'll see the chat panel in the lower right-hand corner. All that you'll need to do is click on that little guy and type in your question, and we'll be able to see it. And if we do have time, like Kevin says, we'll certainly be more than happy to try to answer it for you. You know, before we get started, one of the things that I wanted to mention is, look, being in the auto repair business for my entire life, the one thing that I've learned, and I'm sure that you'll agree with this, is every new customer that comes into your shop, every guy or gal that walks in as a new customer, one of the things that they bring along with them is a story. They do. They always have a story. Either they're new to the community, they just moved into your town from somewhere else, who knows where, or they were going to another shop and they decided to come to you. Well, you know what? If they changed, if they went to another shop and now they're coming to you, there's more than likely a reason. And it's more than likely not a good reason. And by that, I mean their experience wasn't the experience that they were hoping for it to be, for whatever reason. Doesn't really matter. So when they do walk into your shop, you know that they're going to be really anxious. And they're going to be wondering who, what, where, when, why. All these thoughts are going to be going through their mind, a million questions. And what happens is, what most advisors will do is look at their name, they'll get their contact information, they'll ask them what's going on with their automobile, they'll ask how they can get best in touch with them, they'll tell them that they're going to inspect the car, they'll get back to them on the phone, and and then they get them out of the shop. And you know what? With all due respect, I get it, I understand, but you know what, with all due respect, in today's world, that's not good enough. When you think about it, we actually have, all of you guys and gals, we actually have phone procedures, right? When your advisors, when your people pick up the phone, you got a procedure that they follow. You have procedures for how cars are inspected. I know that you do. You have procedures for how cars are repaired. I know that you do that too, right? You have procedures for how jobs are sold. You have procedures for car delivery. So you have all of these different procedures, and God bless you, you need to have those in place. But what about a procedure for how you're going to handle a first-time customer when they first come in? Well, if you wonder whether or not it's important, then consider this. It was a couple months ago, and I know Kevin participated in it. We actually did a 3-part session, web session, with the good people at Mitchell One. And you know what? It was a customer panel of your ideal customers, a panel of them. And for those of you that weren't able to join us, we had over 1,000 people that registered for that event. And the one thing that stuck in my mind is, with all those customers that were on that panel, when they were asked, how would you feel if you came into a shop and somebody actually took a few minutes and actually introduced you to people, actually walked you through their processes, actually explained your company to them, the history of your company, and helped you really understand that they are dealing with the right people and what's going to happen and who's going to happen and why it's going to happen. You know what every one of those panelists said? They would be blown away if something like that happened, because they've never experienced it before. Yeah. Incredible, huh? So you know what? Today, it's going to be a good day for you, because we're here to help you. We really are. You're going to get a lot of really great pointers that you could use when that first-time customer comes in. And if you really like what you hear, and I hope that you do, then stick around to the very end, because you're going to love what we have in place for you after this event is over. So thanks again for joining us. I know it's time to get started, and we're going to go on to the next slide. And Kev, could you help with this one?
Sure, Bob. As you know more better than anyone. Hey, Lee, we're all about building a good foundation. Good foundation is what makes a good building stand, right? And the timeless rules that we're going to talk about here on this slide here. These rules have been around forever, but they're still very applicable to today. And the first one, obviously, is we only have one opportunity to make a first impression. You know, doing research years ago, they tell you have 7 seconds to make a first impression. However, studies here recent have said it happens within 1/10 of a second. So just think that they said within 1/10 of a second, people are already judging you, your character, how you act, how you look. So basically, in the blink of an eye, they're already developing some thoughts on their first impression of you. So you've heard this all your life. At least I've heard it all my life. Timeless principle. One of the most important principles you can have, in my opinion. First impressions.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. So we got to be at the top of our game for sure. Look, guys and gals, with job one with every first-time customer is reduce their anxiety. Like I said earlier, they're more than likely coming in from a bad experience or they're new to town. So they're going to have a lot of anxiety, and it's going to be your job to help reduce that anxiety. And don't forget, people believe what they see. We all know that. We all know that we're ocular creatures. We all know that we're visual creatures. We all know the content goes into our eyes far more than our ears. We get that. So you got to make sure that you really understand when you're building this program that you're going to have in place, when you're going to build this procedure, visual is absolutely everything. And Kevin, what about this one?
This was also kind of a surprising statement from the panel we did a couple months ago, Bob, and that is that they really want to know who's working on their vehicle. So as you say here, the first thing that we need to do is the first thing a customer needs to do is buy into your people. So the first thing we need to do is introduce them to our people in some form or fashion, right? And that takes place in the orientation process.
That's so true, so true. And lastly, guys, timeless rules, all right? A well-developed new customer orientation program, it's going to allow you, it really will, to separate your shop from your competitors and set the appropriate expectations. So you're probably wondering now, okay, how do I do this? Well, look, we put a lot of thought and effort into this, and we're going to walk you through the steps that you need to take. All right, step number one, it says, is you have to set the stage. And I don't think there's any question about it, huh, Kevin, with that first bullet point?
As I said, it goes back to the basics, right? Foundational basics. This is the very first thing you ever learn, right? Is keep the place clean. You gotta understand that any sign of disorganization, or dirt is a sure turnoff to most customers, especially in today's environment. It's just not acceptable. It's not acceptable.
Yeah, there you go. So cleanliness is absolutely everything. Number two, you got to make a meaningful emotional connection. I know that we have a limited amount of time, but don't forget, guys and gals, people are emotional creatures. They make emotional decisions far more than they make logical decisions. So what we need to do when they first come in is we need to make that emotional connection. How do you do that? Make sure that you have your mission statement posted. Please, 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 please make sure that you have it posted. If I was in the auto repair business again today, if you walked into one of the shops that I would have, behind those advisors, you'd see their smiley faces. Right behind them, you'd see the mission statement spread across the wall. That way, when a customer walks in, the first thing that they can do is look into the soul of the company and understand what we're all about, what our DNA is all about. So this is a great way to connect with them emotionally. Number two, warm, welcoming smiles. We all know that. You got to make sure that your guys and gals are the right people. We can't force people to smile. If they don't have it in their DNA, and if they try to smile, if it's artificial, it's going to show through. It's just not going to work. And then utilize the Marriott rule. If you're not familiar with the Marriott rule, this is a really cool rule. Here's how it works. At the Marriott, anytime a Marriott employee is walking through a Marriott, standing in Marriott, if a guest comes 20 foot or further away from them, they're supposed to smile and make eye contact with that guest, 20 foot or more. If they're within 20 foot, then what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to smile, make eye contact, and they're supposed to say something to the extent of a salutation and can I help you? Good morning, can I help you? This is what they need to do. You need to make sure everybody in your company knows Marriott rule. You need to put it into place. That way, when somebody's walking through your parking lot and they see a tech, or a tech sees them, I should say, that tech is going to smile. He's going to make eye contact with them, and he's going to greet them as well. Good morning. Have you been helped yet? No, I haven't. Well, our advisor's straight up here. Go to the left. His name is Larry, and sure, he'll be more than happy to help you. Use the Marriott rule. Works like a champ. Great way to make emotional connections. And then take a look at this one, Kevin. Can you help us with this when it comes to confidence building materials?
Display everything you have available to you. If you're a member of AAA, have that displayed in your showroom or your waiting area for your customers. Napa Car Care, the branding with Napa Car Care, or anything else that has anything that builds. All these things do is build credibility in the customer's eyes. It displays your commitment to your ethics. Anything you have that can demonstrate that. At Elite, I know for our clients, we have an ethics certification that is really important that they can display. All this stuff builds credibility. Images of your team members and certifications and bios. Again, this comes from the customer panel. They said they wanted to walk in and see who was working on their car. They literally, again, they may not know, you know, even if they meet them, they don't know who they are. They're real people, but they do know, they see a picture of them, they feel more confident. They said this in this customer panel. It was amazing. So anything you can do to build confidence and build credibility in what you do, be proud to display it. ASE certifications, any of your testing or certifications that any of your employees have done, whether it be your technicians or your advisors, make sure that stuff's posted. It just adds credibility to your organization.
And Kevin, as always, from you, really great points. Rachel, Kevin and I have been the chatty guys over here. What do you think about that? My gosh, my friend, what about you? I would love to hear from you. Is there anything that you'd like to add at this point?
So in our lobby, we have articles posted that's been posted in our local newspaper that just tells a little bit about us. There's one article in there that talks about us celebrating our 10-year anniversary. There's another one talking about us thriving in the community and what we do about our community. Just being able to make that personal touch with our customers to let them know that they're coming into a family operated business. When they walk in our door, we want them to be a forever part of our family too. We also have a sign in our lobby that says it's a good day to have a good day. We want to start out on a positive note with our customers. We have our lobby set up kind of like our home. We want them, again, to feel welcome and invited into our home. Because like you said, Bob, they're leaving their other repair shop for a reason. And we want them, we built our business on family, and we want them to become a better part of our family too. And we want them to feel invited and at ease, not just stale, like you see in some repair shops, you know, tires everywhere and stuff. We want them to feel it at home when they come to us.
Boy, what do you think, Kevin?
That's great. That's a great point. Great point, Rachel. I have a question here, Bob, that maybe you and Rachel could probably help as much as any of us. And this question comes, does anyone, it's timely, does anyone have another way that they are implementing smiles without seeing mouths? It's very difficult these days. Very timely. Rachel, what do you have to say about that?
So for us, since we can't see those smiles right now, we have a welcome board outside our door, and it's just a chalkboard, and it says welcome on it. And we put down all of our customers' names that we know that are coming in for the day. And that just makes them feel appreciated that we're recognizing them and welcoming them into our shop as part of our family.
Boy, what a great touch, huh?
Nice job.
What a great touch, Kevin. What a great thing to do. And Rachel, one more time, what's the name? What does that sign that you have about a good day? How does that read again?
It's a good day to have a good day.
Yeah, boy, what a great thing to do. And Rachel, I couldn't help but notice, I know that you've been in Ratchet and Wrench articles about you as well. You have those posted as well then, don't you? You have all these articles posted.
Yes.
So people can learn more about you, about your company, and what you guys have been able to accomplish.
Exactly. And like I said, our business was built on family. We also have pictures of our family in the lobby because we want them, again, to feel like part of our family, that we're bringing them into our shop, and we want them to feel at home.
Oh, Rachel, I'm sure that they do with you. So guys and girls, step number one, set the stage. All right, make sure everything is clean. Before we move on, I got to tell you a very quick story about cleanliness. This came from a customer panel that I did maybe 10, 15 years ago. One of the guys in the audience asked one of the ladies, if you came in my shop and if you saw I had state-of-the-art equipment, would that impress you? She said, nope, not at all. You could hear a pin drop. He was just devastated. 5 minutes later, the girl circled back, the lady circled back, and she says, Bob, is it okay? I'd like to pick back up on that fellow earlier that asked about the clean equipment, or he asked about the equipment, whether or not it would impress me. She says, what I'd like to add to that is, he had asked if the equipment was, state of the art, would that impress me? And I said, no, it wouldn't. Let me tell you what would impress me, she said, whether or not it would be clean. And I asked her, I said, why would that impress you? She says, because if the shop owner doesn't care enough about his equipment to keep it clean, he's not going to care about my car either. And you can hear another pin drop when she said that. So guys and gals, cleanliness really is everything. You've got to make an emotional connection in the way that Kevin and Rachel suggested that you do. And you really have to make sure that you have these confidence building materials everywhere. Step number one, set the stage. Step number two, offer a 5-minute tour. It's really, really, really super easy to do that. Now, when you're doing that, what I'm going to ask you to do is make the appropriate introductions, but equally as important, make sure that you mention the principles that they live by. It's one thing to say something about this technician is really qualified, or it's something to say this technician has been in the industry for 20 years. I get it. I understand how that resonates, but that doesn't speak to who they are as a person. Anything that you can do to help that customer understand who they are as a person is going to be light years for you. You know, this is a tech. He's been with us for 8 years. This guy, you know, the principles that he lives by really are second to none. This is a guy that will never put money ahead of people. That's one of the reasons that I absolutely love working with him. Actually, he has 3 really cute kids and he's got a couple dogs too. He's a wonderful, wonderful guy. Now I'm sort of showing them a little bit of his personal life, who he is as a person as well. So make the appropriate introductions. And when you do this, when you're introducing them to those people, even if it's no handshakes and all that, if it's just a hi or a bye, it's going to make the technician, it's going to make the other employees feel good as well that you're really recognizing them. So make a point to make those introductions. Kev, what about this one? Can you help us with this one?
Yeah, during the walkthrough with a new customer, if you do get the opportunity to take them on a little short tour, always use their name. Obviously, that's the most important thing you can always do when you're talking with a customer. But explain your process. We can't just assume that they know our process. Explain that you use steering wheel covers. Explain that you use floor mats. You know, it should be. I mean, it is an assumption on the customer's part that you're going to take care of these things, but we shouldn't assume that they know this. So we need to explain all these things. You want to explain to them that all your employees, you know, it's a company policy. They're not to touch anything but the key fob, the gear shift, and the steering wheel, basically, unless they're working on another part of the car. I know that that was one of the number one customer complaints years ago, is that someone messed with my radio or someone turned my heat up, whatever the case may be. In today's world, it's even more important because they don't want people fingering around all over their cars. They don't want fingerprints all over their cars. They don't want the chance of a virus spreading in their cars. So make sure that you explain all your processes, when they'll be contacted, how you're going to contact everything. You use digital inspections. Explain the whole process during this walkthrough as you're introducing them to what you've got, your people, and who they are.
There you go, guys and gals. And bear in mind, like Kevin is saying, if you're explaining these things to them, if you're telling them about seat covers and formats and things of that nature, who knows? Maybe the reason that they're not going back to that other shop is they didn't use seat covers. Maybe they didn't explain things. Maybe the steering wheel was dirty. Who knows? I don't know, but there's a reason that they didn't go back. It could have been one of these things. So these are questions that are in the back of their mind. And the more you can help them better understand, the more successful you're going to be. Step number 2, offer a 5-minute tour. This is something we absolutely have to do. Now, if the customer was referred to you, this is the ideal time to speak about that customer and the relationship. Every single time, every new client that comes to us, we always ask them the first question. We ask who referred you to us. When I was in the auto repair business, all of my advisors, one of the first things that they had to ask every new customer, regardless if the customer had a coupon in their hand, it didn't matter. Do you mind if I ask who referred you to us? Because we discovered there's a lot of people that referred to you that are still going to use media to come in to see. That's a call to action, but they were really referred to you by a friend or somebody. So if you're able to do this when you're, by the way, Kevin, do you mind if I ask who referred you to us? And Kevin says he was referred to me by Rachel Spencer. Then I can say, oh my gosh, how do you know Rachel? Do you mind if I ask? Well, we work together over at the office or what. Oh my gosh, she's been coming here for 5 years. What a wonderful gal she is. And did you ever meet her little boy, her little son? So now look where the conversation is now. Now Kevin is feeling comfortable with us because he knows we have a great relationship with Rachel. I'm reminding him of that. So this is huge, guys and gals. This is huge. Great time to do it when you're walking through the shop with a customer. Kev, what about this one? Can you help with this one?
This kind of goes back to what I was saying a little earlier. Make sure you explain that, if you use digital inspections, explain why you use it, how you use it, and what to expect. That's what the customer wants to know. As Bob says, remember when a customer walks in our stores, they are so filled with anxiety, we just can't appreciate it. We're in the business, we don't know how anxious filled they are. So anything we can do to reduce that anxiety level, this is the time to do it, especially with a new customer. This is the time to do it. That's what the tours do. That's what explaining your processes does. It puts them at ease. That's what they want to know. What do I expect, right? What do I expect? Because you may do it different than where they came from, as Bob just said. So what do I expect? That's what we need to make sure we're clear about. Why we do inspections. We do it because it's ethically the right thing to do, is to do a thorough inspection. That's the right thing to do. Mrs. Smith, you'll make the decision whether you want to fix it or not. It's my obligation to do a thorough inspection and let you know what's going on. Especially being a new customer, I need a benchmark. So all these things take place when you're making this connection with the customer. It just takes the anxiety right out of the picture.
Sure does. Rachel, how about you? Are there any comments that you'd like to add to that when it comes to inspections?
I agree with Kevin 100%. Digital inspections gives our customers the peace of mind about the service through the images we give them, the videos, and the detailed explanation. For us, the digital inspection was a simple solution that gives direct results to not only us, but to our customers. It's helped us tremendously with our sales. It's amplified our transparency with our professionalism, and it sends a message to our customers that we're in the lead with technology, and we're just giving them full transparency so they can see the overall picture of the health of their car.
Well, what a great message, huh, Kevin?
Absolutely.
What a great message. What a great message.
Spot on,
Yeah,
for sure.
Rachel. Look for opportunities to recognize your techs, guys and gals, in a very personal manner, as I mentioned earlier, and explain how jobs are assigned to them based on the need of repairs. This is a great opportunity for you to let them know more about that guy or gal that's going to be working on the car. One of the things that we discovered in the customer panel, the one that we recently did with Mitchell, is one of the things that really concern the customers when they come in is they think that their car is going to go into a vacuum. It goes into the back of the shop. They are clueless as to who's going to work on it. For all they know, the guy or gal that's going to be working on their car is somebody that worked at a grocery store 2 weeks ago and he got fired because he wasn't bagging correctly. They're scared to death of that. This is a world that they live in. And you know what? I get it. I understand that. So we need to cut that off at the pass. We need to let them know. Maybe that guy left that other shop because of the technician wasn't competent, had to take the car back 3 times for the same repair. So use this as an opportunity to really help the customer understand how gifted this tech is. It's going to be inspecting or working on their car. And also explain how you assign jobs, why you're going to have this particular tech inspect his particular car. This is huge. So don't miss this one. Step number 3, and this is one that Kevin and Rachel had both alluded to on a number of occasions earlier. Boy, you got to paint a clear picture, guys and gals, every single time. Every single time. You got to paint a clear picture. How you are going to explore all the available options before you're recommending any repairs or services and whatever you have available for financing. This will take all the anxiety and just get rid of it. If I tell Rachel we're going to find out what needs to be done to your car, I'll give you a call and tell you the prices. Okay, she's going to, oh, this is going to cost a lot of money. If I just simply change that a little bit and tweak it a little bit and say, Rachel, we'll go ahead and inspect your car. And you know, one of the things I've learned here at Elite Auto Repair over the years is that there's always different options. So we're going to explore all the different options that are available to you. And when I give you a call, we'll let you know what's going on, anything that we discover, and we'll explain all your options to you. And if you need help with financing for whatever, I'll certainly go over those options with you as well. Now she's going, it's not going to be yes or no, or I'm in a box, I'm in a trap, I have to fix it. It's not going to be the case. This is huge. This is huge. You need to do this with customer orientation. And Kevin, what about this one? Did you see this one?
Yeah, make sure you explain to the customer how you'll be communicating. I want to take it one step further, and I would ask you to ask the customer how they prefer to be communicated with. Don't just assume that they want to be texted. Don't just assume they want to be called. Ask them, how would you prefer to be communicated with? This is what we do. This is how we communicate. We'll be calling you when we get the estimate done and get it all checked out. We'll be calling you or text you, whatever. We'll be communicating with you. How's that? When the parts are here and we're ready to start the car, we'll be communicating with you when the car's being worked on. Whatever your process is, make sure you explain it and tell them how you'll be communicating with them. But like I said, go one step further, ask them what they prefer. Don't just make an assumption they prefer one way or the other. That'll bite you too.
Yeah, for sure, guys and gals. Look, we all know this. Some people like text, some people hate text.
Right.
Some people, a lot of the older people that are not tech savvy, they're not even going to have a smartphone necessarily. So to Kevin's point, they're the decision maker. Always ask them the best way to communicate with them. And Rachel, anything that you'd like to add when it comes to anything that you see up on the screen, whether it becomes exploring the options or how you communicate with the customers?
Just making sure that we're closing that expectation gap, just setting it all in front of them so they know what to expect the entire way through the process. Exactly like you and Kevin mentioned, is letting them know that you have financing options, that you have loaner cars available, that we have shuttles, that we are here to provide them with solutions, that we don't just fix cars, we help people. And that's what we're in the business of doing, is helping people.
Boy, what a great message. What a great message, Rachel.
Yes, it
What a
is.
great message. Kev, what about this one?
This is something, Bob, you and I have talked about this in great length. This is something that's very, very timely today, but this is something we ought to be practicing from here for the rest of our lives. But let the customer know how you're going to sanitize the vehicle, what your pre-delivery quality control checklist is, or whatever your pre-delivery quality control process. What do? We test drive the car. We make sure it's all right before we deliver it back to you. Make sure that they understand. Don't just take for granted that they know that you're going to sanitize their car. You're going to bring it back to them. Let them know. The more information we give them, the less anxiety there is. The less anxiety there is, the better the whole process will go.
Yeah, to Kevin's point, and I know that Kevin and I have had long conversations about this, guys and gals. We know that the day is going to come that COVID's going to be behind us. We get that. And who knows what normal is going to look like as we move forward? Who knows? But the reality of it is, forget the virus for a minute, all right? There are a lot of people that are really anxious about any piece of lint in their car. There are a lot of people that are anxious about any contagion in their car. It doesn't matter what it is. Maybe it's allergies, whatever it is. So I think what this virus has taught us is the importance of that to many people. So I would encourage you, as an organization, we would encourage you to have a policy in place for how you're going to sanitize cars, whatever that means. We have a 9-step policy. Here's a checklist. Here are the 9 things that we do to sanitize every car before it leaves. That's going to give a lot of people peace of mind, and it's going to show them that you care. That's going to show them that you care, and that's going to be priceless for sure. We're good, Kevin?
Yep.
Okay, here's another one.
Here's the last one, yeah. Yeah, make sure that they understand you retain the parts, and they're welcome to take them with them if there's no car charge, obviously, but they're welcome to take them with them, but they're definitely there for their inspection when they pick up the vehicle they want. Tell them how you dispose of hazardous materials. Again, don't just make the assumption they know that you're doing it properly. So make sure that they understand you've got an environmental company that comes by and picks up your waste oil and you have to pay to have it hauled. Whatever the case may be, explain what you do, how you do it. The more that you can, again, the more that we can educate the customer, the calmer they'll be. The calmer they are, the better the whole situation goes.
So Kevin and Rachel, maybe that customer that just came into the shop is a first-time customer. Maybe the reason that they left that last place is because they saw what they were doing with hazardous materials. They saw what they were doing with old oil or parts or whatever it is. Right. So I think it's safe to say, isn't it? If we can help the customers understand these things, we're going to be light years ahead, right?
Well, and then there's no misunderstanding. I remember one time, there was years ago, there used to be a green floor soap. You floor soap, you clean the floors, it turned green when you start scrubbing the floor. Well, I remember customers come out one time saying, "You're pouring antifreeze down the drain." Well, again, had we been through the process of what we did and how we do things, that wouldn't have been a question. They'd have known. They wouldn't have made that assumption.
Yeah, so true, so true. So look, step number 4 then that you move on to is provide the customers with peace of mind. How do you do that? Well, in really clear terms, non-technical terms, help them understand the benefits of the warranties that are provided. By the way, Rachel, one of the things I also wanted to mention to you today is all the services that we do, all the repairs that we do, come with a full 2-year part and labor warranty. And we're proud of that. And the reason that we're proud of that is because we're standing behind everything that we do. We believe in our people. We certainly believe in the repairs that we do. So you can relax. You'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you're not going to have to worry about it again. This is huge. This is huge. This is huge. And Kevin, what about this one?
Am I looking at the same screen? Didn't we just go through this, Bob? We went through all these, didn't we?
How do you follow up with your customers post-service?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got you. Yeah. Make sure they understand that. And again, I got to stress this. Don't assume that just send the text message to that customer is a good follow-up. But either way, explain what your follow-up process is. You're going to be getting a call from us the next day or so. And when you know that, hey, this is the time to tell us, how we did. That's what we want to know. At any rate, explain to them what you'll be doing with this follow-up, how you're going to be doing the follow-up.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Rachel, what do you do at your shop? Share with us the policy or procedure that you guys use.
So at our shop, we are using text messages. So 2 days after the customer comes in, they get a personal message from me just asking them how their visit went. Did they have any questions or concerns regarding their visit? We'll also follow up with that at 2 months, just to ask them if everything is still going well with their vehicle. Was there anything that they needed that we could help them with? And then at 6 months, we're going to send that same message again. Just wanted to check back in with you. Everything okay? Is there anything that we can do for you? We're also sending out follow-up emails. So that goes out 45 days after they've come in, if they've had some recommended services. So we're just touching base with them to see if they've had a chance to get those taken care of, and just reiterating that we're here to help them make their vehicle safe and reliable long-term. And those are some items that if they're planning on keeping the vehicle that need to be addressed in the future. So we've had a really good response out of those text messages. We're following up with them on those, and it's just helping us get some great feedback from our customers.
Boy, nice. Sounds like you got that down to a science, Rachel.
We try.
Sounds like you got it down to a science. Yeah, what a great policy, right, Kevin? You like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what she's doing, really, really cool. And Kevin, what about this one? Can you help us with this one?
Yeah, make sure that they understand that you have, you can provide assistance, 24-hour assistance. Maybe tow truck, that you've got a tow service available to them 24 hours. You got alternative methods of transportation. You got loaner cars if you have loaner cars, or you'll subsidize rental cars, or you'll pay for Uber and Lyft. Those are some valuable options these days. So just, again, anything we can, I can't stress enough, we're easing the anxiety with everything that we're doing here. We're easing that anxiety, and I can't stress enough, that's the key here. Make them comfortable, make them feel comfortable, make them feel, as Rachel said earlier, make them feel like they're part of the family. How would you, how would you act if it was a family member? How would you treat them? You'd give them as much information you could possibly do. So again, anything that you can do and explain to them, you're better off.
And Kevin, what about this one? Could you help us with this too?
Yeah, again, very timely, but again, I think should be practiced forever. But let them know how their vehicles will be serviced in a touchless manner. That they can use the early bird drop box. You can come and pick up the car. We have free valet service, or we'll send guys to pick your car up, or anything that you have as far as the new world we're living in these days. The touchless. Text to pay. That's another thing I see catching on all over the country, Bob, is text to pay is a really big deal. And it's really brought on it's gained traction because of the pandemic. So anything that you can do, again, you're explaining to the customer what your procedure, your process is. One more time, you're using the anxiety.
Yeah, this is a win-win for you guys. You go, step number 5, what do you do next? And obviously, you have to show them just how much you care about them as a person. How do you do that? Well, certainly you want to give them a new customer kit that you have, a welcoming kit that has information on your company, a letter from you as a business owner, a heartfelt letter from you about your organization, why you're so proud of the organization, the people that you work with, and of course your business card as well. Always ask them before they leave, before you're done at that point, is there anything else that you can help them with? Do you have any questions or anything else that I can do for you? And then, of course, one of the things you'll need to do is provide them with a clear understanding. Huh, Kevin? Can you help with this?
Absolutely. You want to give them a clear understanding of what's going on with their vehicle, what's going to happen next with their vehicle, what they should expect. And again, we talked about the digital inspections. That's the benefit of having a complete inspection and presenting it all to the customer, is that you're going to be able to help them prepare for what's coming next. Hey, it's not necessary today, but in the future. So all these things, again, are just easing that customer. So provide them with a clear understanding as to what will be happening with their vehicle next.
Yeah, for sure. Rachel, how about you? Is there anything that you'd like to share at this point?
For us, it's just we want to provide them with the ultimate experience. They may not remember what we said, but they're always going to remember how we made them feel. For us here at our shop, we are different than other shops. So we really try and go and above and beyond with our customers and try and seek out ways that we are different from other shops. Over the past year, we've implemented a program where we give a customer a gift every time that they come in. So last month we did pies, we did mini pies, and on the tag it said, any way you slice it, we're grateful for you. We've done popcorn in the past, thanks for popping in. We've done candles at Christmas, thanks for making our spirits bright. We've done heart-shaped brownies that says, thanks for being the heart of our business. And I feel like that's just something that sets us aside from other businesses, and also lets the customer know that we appreciate them coming into us and giving us the opportunity to service their vehicle. And it makes the people feel good. It's amazing what it does for the customers. We've had some at the beginning of the month that we were given the pies and they came back 2 weeks later. We were out of pies and they wanted to know where their pie was. So we've even seen it in our Google reviews that, hey, they did a great job and they even gave me a pie. So
oh my God.
And what Rachel's saying is spot on, and it's basically what this content we're talking about here today is, and that is it differentiates you from everybody else up and down the street, right?
Exactly.
That's what makes you. Let's face it. When they bring the car in and need a water pump replaced, that's expected. You're going to do a good job on that. That's expected. It's all the other things you do that enhance the customer experience. Fixing their car is expected. That's nothing. That's just expected.
Right.
What you're supposed to do. It's what I'm paying you for. It's all the little extra things. And this right here, this orientation is a great start. A new customer is going to be blown away if you will practice these things we're talking about. Blown away.
Yeah, so yeah, they're going to be sold on you and your company and your people before you even start talking about repair.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Rachel, the pies, I'm going to back up on you a little bit here. Rachel, the pies that we're talking about, are these like small pies? Are they regular sized pies and you buy them from a local bakery, or how does that work?
They're just small little mini pies. It seemed that people, most of all, like the pecan and the apple pie. That's what they were asking for. So I would go out each week and buy about 50 of them. It wasn't an expensive marketing tool for us. The pies were about 50 cents each. But it more than paid for itself to see the smiles on our customer's face and to know that we gave them the ultimate experience just by giving them a pie. We've also done hand sanitizer. We've got custom labels on our hand sanitizers that we started giving out at the beginning of COVID. It's just showing them that you care and that you're giving something back to them.
Yeah, all of you that are on this webinar today, I'm sure that you can tell. Rachel runs a great business, and I'm sure you recognize the reason that she does is because she really does care about people. It shows to us, and that's why we're so honored to have her as a part of our family here at Elite. And I'm sure that's why she's able to generate the numbers that she's able to generate in her shop. So great comments for sure, Rachel. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And the last bullet point that we have here for show them that you care is let them know that you realize they have a choice. This is huge. This is huge. And I think every shop owner really needs to get this into their DNA. Well, Kevin, I know there's a lot of well-ran shops here in town. The fact that you've chosen us is an honor. You know, you're gonna be thrilled. You have my promise. You're gonna be pleased with everything that you experience here. Let them know how much you care about them. This is huge. This is huge. Now, if you do these things, when they walk out, they're gonna go, you know, I just experienced something that I've never experienced before in my life. I know what they're going to do. I know why they're going to do it. I know how they're going to do it. And I know who is going to do it. All of those expectations are there. And whatever it was that caused them to leave that other shop, during this quick 5-minute walkthrough, you know, there's a really good probability they're going to be bringing that to your attention anyways during this time. They'll tell you, well, the last shop that I went to did this or did that. So because they're going to feel comfortable in having that kind of conversation with you. So Kev, could we do a quick walkthrough before we get into the next leg here?
Yep. We'll just review over what we talked about. First of all, set the stage. And again, I think the most important thing you do there is first impressions. You know, we talk about things. I talk about things with my clients as far as touch points. Well, that first impression, first physical impression is the first touch point you have with a customer. So set the stage. First impression is the most important. Next, offer a 5-minute tour. Bob and I think we talked about this a little earlier before the meeting started, and that is that you may even consider when a new customer calls you with an appointment, you may even consider asking them if they would come in about 4 or 5 minutes early so you can give them a quick tour. That way you're not springing it on them once they show up there. Just like a doctor going to the doctor the first time, they ask you to come in a half hour early to do paperwork or whatever. So it's not out of line, number one, but number two, I think it would put the customer at ease what you're doing. Again, you're telling them what to expect when they come in. We're going to give you a little quick tour and introduce you to people. So offer a tour. Paint a clear picture. You know, as Bob said, more importantly, visual is what, 55%, Bob, I think. Visual is 55%, and tonality is 38%. So, paint a clear picture of what you do. Don't assume This is the most important thing I can say. Don't assume the customer knows what you do. Explain it to them. Tell them what you do. Don't assume they know it. And then the fourth thing, provide peace of mind. This is the most important thing as far as I'm concerned. As Rachel said earlier, it's not about fixing the car. It's about offering that peace of mind for that customer. That customer is going to make it to their child's soccer game. That customer is going to make it to work tomorrow morning. It's peace of mind. That's the most important. And then number 5, show them that you care. What's the saying? People won't know. I don't know. I can't forget the care statement. But at any rate, Rachel might know. She knows the quotes better than I do. But anyway, show them that you care. As Rachel said earlier, being part of the family. How would you treat a family member for the first time in your shop? You'd probably introduce them to your advisor. You'd probably introduce them to the technician working on their car. This is the same thing. It really is the same thing.
Well, it sure is. Rachel, or any comments that you'd like to make on this little quick list that we put up?
Just, we've got to close that expectation gap, and we've got to be transparent with our customers so they know what to expect the entire way. I've explained to my staff, it's kind of like you go to a restaurant and you notice the waitress keeps walking by and your glass is always empty. Well, we need to be constantly filling that glass for our customer and letting them know what to expect. And we never need to let that glass get empty, as we're always setting the stage for them and keeping them updated and knowing what to expect on their visit.
Well, what a great example, huh? What a great example. What a really wonderful example. So guys and gals, let's talk about the next step. You know, where are you going to go from here with this? Well, you know what? I got some great news for you. I really do. Because here's your chance to start the brand new year, to start 2021, generating happier customers, being more productive, making more money, and equally as important to all of those, taking a huge, giant step right over your competitors. You have my promise. You do the things that we're going to be asking you to do now. You do these things and watch how social media is going to light up for you. Watch what is going to happen. And your competitors are wondering, hey, what's going on over there? Watch how the buzz starts to go through your community, because you're doing what all these customer panels have told us countless times they're starving for. They walk in, they don't know what you're going to do, why you're going to do it, who's going to do it, when it's going to, they're clueless. And a good advisor, in most cases, with all due respect, in most cases, the advisor will say, we're going to check out your car, we're going to get back to you within 45 minutes or an hour or whatever, and this and this and this and this, and you need a ride home. And I know that I'm simplifying it, but that's what happens. They don't really spend the quality time with them that they really could. And, you know, God bless them. We know that they're busy. We know that they're working. But you know what? If they spend a few minutes doing this up front, that's going to save them a ton of time on the back end, answering questions, taking phone calls that they should not have had to take, dealing with customer sales objections and everything else. So this is going to be a huge, huge win for you. So let's do this. Let me get to the next slide if I could. All right. Implementation really now is easy. What we're going to be providing is 2 sessions. And it's going to include Kevin, my dear friend Kevin, my dear friend Rachel, and myself. And I think you're going to really like what you hear. So hold on. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to show you how you could take everything that you've heard so far and how you're going to be able to turn this into a procedure, where you're going to be able to turn all these lifelong visitors, as we call them, how you're going to be able to turn them into absolute songbirds. So how are we going to do that? Well, next week, starting on Monday, 2 90-minute open forum sessions with the 3 of us. That means, and by the way, small group of you, we are limiting this to 12. And the reason that we're limiting it to 12 is we want to make sure that we're able to have really great conversations with each and every one of you, so you get exactly what you're looking for. So on Monday from 10 Pacific until 11:30 Pacific, 90 minutes. Then we're going to circle back the following day on Tuesday from 10 Pacific to 11:30. So you're going to have 2 90-minute sessions, a total of 3 hours that we're going to be spending with you. And you are going to be thrilled with how we're going to be able to help you. What we're going to do, we're going to help you with providing you with priceless tips. What do you do with your service counter? What do you do with your customer waiting area? And you know, there's a lot of science. There's not a company on this planet that knows more about the environment the customers need to be in an auto repair business than the elite. We got this. We've spent years, we spent decades understanding people, understanding psychology, bringing in PhDs, bringing in psychologists to help us. We know about colors. You know, what colors do you need to use in an auto repair business? What colors do you not need to have in an auto repair business? What are the 5 things you need to make sure are never in your waiting room? How do you do that? We're going to be able to help you with all of that. We're going to give you tips that are just going to blow your mind as to what you're going to be able to do to make your customer waiting area and your service counter that much more friendly. Then we're going to do a really super deep dive into these 5 steps. I mean, a really deep dive. And we're also going to show you just how easy it is to do a remote orientation. What we're talking about here is, what about the customer that can't come in? What about the customer that just doesn't have the time? They're dropping their keys off. How do you help that guy or gal too? Well, of course we want to help them. We're going to show you just how easy it is to do that. Now, here's another one. What are you going to do with employee follow through? If you take the information that you gained today, and if you go back to work with it, and if you start implement it, are your guys and gals going to follow through as they need to? You know what? We're going to help you with that too. We're going to help you see just how easy it is to better ensure you're getting to follow through the kind of results that you're looking for from the guys and gals that work with you. Now, as an added bonus, one of the other things we're going to do is, I really do believe in my heart, you as a business owner, when that customer leaves, they need to have a kit from you. And one of the things that they need to have in that kit is a letter from you that speaks from your heart as to who you are and puts them at ease that they chose the right company. Well, you don't have to draft that letter. What we've done is we've created a draft for you that I suspect you're going to really love. It's in a Word format. That way you could go in, you can change it, you can do whatever you want to do it. But we're going to give you this as a starter, absolutely no charge to you. It's an added bonus if you sign up for this course. Now, here's where it gets really cool. All right. It's only $295 for both sessions. It is limited to 12 seats, no more. 13 seats, we're not going to do it. And you do have my promise. Like I mentioned earlier, you take what you're going to learn from spending those 2 days with Rachel, with Kevin, and with myself, you apply it to your business. And now that we're going into the month of December, watch how you're going to be ready for bear. Watch how you're going to be ready to rock and roll on January 1. Your team is going to be lined up. You're going to have the written procedures in place. You had a chance to role play them, do a couple of test drives, and watch how you blow your customers away. And then watch what they do with social media. It's only $295 for both sessions. There's the dates, 7th and 8th, next Monday, next Tuesday. All that you need to do is click on the link. If you take a look in the chat box, you'll see a little link there. If you click on that link, that will take you to a page where you can immediately enroll. The website is designed, when it gets to 12, it closes. You can also send us a chat right now. If you want to send in a chat with your name and your phone number, we'll be more than happy to call you and get you enrolled. Or you can call our 1-800 number and you can reserve your seat today. When these seats are gone, they're gone. So at this point, all that I could do is hope that we met with your expectations, and I certainly hope that we're able to see you guys this coming Monday and Tuesday. Kevin, my dear friend, I would love to thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing an extraordinary job, as you always do with these webinars. And thanks so much for being a part of our family as well, Kevin.
Thanks, Bob. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Rachel, nice job too.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Rachel, to you, my friend, it's an absolute honor to be able to have you now as a part of our family here at Elite. You're a blessing to the industry, for sure. You're a blessing to all of your companies and your customers. And now you're going to be able to help a lot of our clients as well. So thank you for joining us as well. To the rest of you, we can only hope that we met your expectations. And I'm going to sort of cross my fingers and hope that we're going to see you on Monday for the next session. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.